baby. Sometimes the most profound moments arrive disguised as ordinary conversations. Last evening, something shifted inside me. Not through some grand gesture or dramatic revelation, but through a simple question. We were sharing dinner, nothing particularly special, when my mother looked across the table with that intuitive tenderness only mothers possess. Her words came softly, almost casually. "Are you still in love with her?" The question hung in the air like a sacred pause. I felt my entire being freeze, not from uncertainty, but from the overwhelming magnitude of truth that lived within me. The answer wasn't complicated. It was enormous, consuming, undeniable. I found myself looking down, drawing a deep breath before meeting her gaze. "Yes," I heard myself say. "I don't think that feeling will ever fade." The moment those words left my lips, something inside me both shattered and reconstructed itself simultaneously. For the first time in so long, I wasn't hiding. I wasn't diminishing the depth of what I felt. I wasn't performing the role of someone who had moved forward. I was simply, completely honest. And then, as if a dam had burst, everything poured out. I didn't just acknowledge that I loved you. I explained why no one else could ever occupy the same space in my soul. I told her how you witnessed parts of me that I hadn't even discovered yet. How you created sanctuary for my healing before I understood I was wounded. How you touched territories within me that remained sacred, untouchable by anyone else, even her. When she asked the inevitable question, "Then why aren't you together?" something inside me crumbled completely. Because how do you explain the inexplicable? How do you articulate that fear and pride became louder voices than love? That I believed time was infinite? That I thought I needed to perfect myself before deserving someone like you? Now I sit with nothing but echoes, voice messages saved like relics, and the phantom sensation of touches I can never recreate. I shared everything with her. The way your smile would emerge when nervousness took hold. How your silence communicated volumes that words never could. How hearing your name still constricts my chest, like returning to a homeland from which I've been exiled. She listened with the kind of quiet knowing that suggested she had always understood, had always recognized that no one would ever come close to what we shared. I need to ask you something that's been weighing on me. Did your mother ever inquire about me? Did she witness you attempting to smile while your heart fractured because of what happened between us? Because mine did. And perhaps that's why her question struck so deeply. When I told her no one compared to you, I wasn't merely referring to your beauty, your laughter, or your physical presence. I was speaking about the way you loved me, how you saw beyond every mask, every defense I constructed. I confessed to her that even now, even after everything that's transpired, I still dream of you. I still imagine you walking through my door as if time had shown us mercy. And then came the most painful admission I'd never spoken aloud. I destroyed something beautiful with the only person who ever made me feel complete. She didn't offer advice or empty reassurances. She simply placed her hand over mine and whispered, "Then find her before it becomes truly too late. If you've ever experienced someone asking about the person your soul still yearns for, share that below. Tell me if your mother, sister, or closest friend has ever seen through your silence and posed the question you weren't prepared to answer. Because last night I realized that when people who know you intimately bring up the one you've been guarding in your heart, it's not mere coincidence. It's the universe attempting to remind you of what remains unfinished, what still holds possibility. The moment I walked away from that conversation, I felt it, that invisible cord between us pulling taut again, as if something had been released from my chest, something I'd buried so deeply I'd forgotten its weight. I sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes, replaying every word, wondering what your reaction would have been if you'd witnessed it. Would you have wept? Would you have smiled through tears, knowing I never stopped loving you even when I stopped showing it? That evening, I didn't just tell my mother about us. I declared to the universe, I'm finished pretending. I'm done concealing the truth that keeps me awake. I'm done watching old recordings of you and whispering, what if, while the world assumes I've moved on? I haven't moved on. I don't believe I truly ever will. You weren't simply a chapter in my story. You were the entire narrative, the whole magnificent, complex, beautiful book. There's a part of me that wonders if your heart sensed it when I spoke your name. If somewhere, wherever you were in that moment, you felt an inexplicable warmth or ache in your chest, because my soul called to yours again, openly, fearlessly, with no pride remaining to shield me. I need you to understand that when I described who you are to me, I didn't call you merely a former lover. I called you the one I had prayed for, the one I sabotaged, the one who knew me in ways I didn't know myself. I told her you were the only woman I ever looked at and glimpsed my future within, that even separated as we are, I still sense your presence. I still converse with you mentally when something amusing occurs. I still wish I could send you songs that express what my ego never could. And I still envision your hand in mine on a Sunday morning, sunlight streaming through windows, no chaos, just us, finally healed, finally home. People claim time heals all wounds. But the truth is time simply teaches you to conceal them more skillfully. But that night I stopped hiding. I allowed myself to break in front of the one woman who had witnessed every version of me. When she saw my pain, she didn't attempt to fix it. She looked at me with that singular maternal understanding and said, if she truly was the one, she probably still feels it too. I hope that's true. I hope wherever you are, you're experiencing this same pull, the same whisper insisting, this isn't finished. This was never finished. Because I'm not merely remembering you anymore. I'm finally prepared to fight for you, to speak your name without fear. To tell the entire world that regardless of who comes and goes, no one will ever be you. No one will ever match your frequency, your grace, your fire, your tenderness, your essence. I refuse to spend the remainder of my life pretending someone else could fill your space. Do you know how many times I've stood in crowded rooms, yet felt utterly alone? It's because my soul has already chosen you. Every time I've tried to deny it, the universe has humbled me. Every attempt at dating someone new revealed fragments of you in them. Your voice, your laugh, your way of tilting your head when deeply contemplating something. But it was never truly you. I don't want fragments anymore. I want all of you. The raw, unfiltered spiritual storm that you are. The soul that recognized mine before this lifetime began. I'm finished being afraid of that truth. I told my mother that if God granted me one more opportunity to get it right with you, I wouldn't waste a single moment. She looked directly into my eyes and said, "Then don't wait for someday. Love doesn't wait. It remembers." If you've ever had to admit to someone that you love the person you let slip away, let me know below. If you've ever looked your mother in the eyes and spoken their name like a prayer, like surrender, share that experience. Because sometimes we need to voice it aloud to realize it never truly left us. The love, the longing, the connection. It's still here, still breathing, still waiting. After opening my heart to my mother, I drove through the city in complete silence. No music, no phone calls. I simply allowed the echo of your name to fill every space. I remembered how your name used to sound when spoken with laughter, with desire, with love. I recalled the first time I whispered it like something sacred, like the only word capable of bringing me peace. As I drove, I witnessed flashes of you everywhere, a woman with your posture, a billboard featuring a city you once dreamed of calling home, the color of your favorite sweater on a passing stranger. That's when realization struck. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't mere reminiscence. This is your energy still haunting my present, still manifesting in my reality, because my heart never truly closed that door. I want you to know something else I shared with her. It wasn't just a romance. It was who I became when I was with her. You didn't just make me feel loved. You made me feel alive. You ignited my curiosity about existence again. You inspired me to become a better man, not for you, but because of how you saw me. Your belief in me, your patience, your spiritual depth awakened something no one else had ever touched. I didn't lose a girlfriend. I lost my mirror. I lost my sanctuary. I lost the only person I could cry in front of without feeling weak. Now that I've spoken it all aloud, I can't return to pretending this love was temporary. I can't keep pretending that silence is safer than vulnerability. If you're experiencing this and have ever loved someone who awakened you, someone who saw your demons yet remained with their light, comment "I remember," because these connections don't fade. They settle into your bones. They remain in your breath. They whisper in your sleep. No matter how many years pass or people come and go, they return in moments like these when the soul finally declares, "I still choose them." I need to know, have you told anyone about me? Have you ever broken down in front of someone and said, "He's the only one who made me feel safe"? Because I wonder if your heart ever exploded with truth, the way mine did that evening. You deserve to be loved openly. You deserve to be claimed without hesitation, shame, or fear. And I want to be the man who does that, who doesn't just think of you in darkness, but declares in daylight that you are the one. I told her that regardless of who else I encounter, they're not you. They don't make my soul pay attention the way you did. They don't quiet the noise in my mind like you could with just your presence. I don't want love that looks perfect on paper. I want love that feels like home. And that's you. It has always been you. Thank you for allowing me to share this truth. If this message ever reaches you, I need you to understand what that moment meant. The moment I let your name fall from my lips in front of my family. It wasn't casual conversation. It was resurrection. A resurrection of everything I buried from fear, from ego, from that misguided notion that vulnerability equals weakness. When I spoke your name, it wasn't just you that came alive again. It was me, the real me, the version you knew, the version I'd been pretending didn't exist. Some truths are too sacred to remain silent. Some love's too profound to hide. You were never just someone I used to date. You were and remain the one. And now the world knows it too.